All right, so these are a little bit different questions. Talk a bit about why you think paranoia is sort of relevant to today, or sort of socially relevant today.
It's interesting because it's a bit serendipitous that Paranoia is coming out now when this subject, this topic, has found renewed fervor in the political conversation currently. It's interesting. I feel like it's a bit of luck. It's not a new debate. It's not a new question. In fact, I'd say it's age-old question of the line between liberty and security, freedom of privacy versus freedom of safety. And I think the two have kind of always been, they've always had a contentious relationship with one another, the two concepts. But now, with everything that's going on, the NSA, it's incredibly, it's found a new kind of fervor, a new energy behind it, and I like that. It helps our movie. And right now, I think it's interesting because our ability to collect and store and share information has grown exponentially. And I don't know if it's quite our ability to develop the mechanisms to control it and make it work within our system. I don't know if it's caught up yet to the rapidly increasing ability to acquire the information and share it. And so we're faced right now with the question of how much we're willing to give up in order to have the conveniences and the convenience and the fun of having this constantly connected thing at our fingertips, the ability to share information of ourselves and be able to access information of others. It's funny to me that we're not asking at what cost that is acquired, but it's very relevant.
Yeah. Somebody said something in one of the other interviews where they say sort of privacy is dead or dying, today. Do you think that that's kind of true, or how do you think that that's happening?
I think it happens in many ways. I think as technology becomes easier and easier and cheaper to access, as we develop it quicker and quicker and quicker, as we are able to find convenience and rely upon the conveniences afforded to us by technology, I think as we continue to rely on it, it becomes easier and easier to forget that it comes at a cost. That each of these devices, each of these systems, social media, internet, credit cards and electronic banking, flying on a commercial airline, for instance. There's many aspects in which technology makes it more convenient for us. Yet we increasingly run the risk of forgetting that it comes at a cost, that it costs something. Privacy.
How do you think the movie sort of touches on some of that stuff, or how does Paranoia speak to these themes?
Well, I mean, I think all of the characters working or being involved with the tech industry are in one way, shape, or form embodying the I guess the systems that drive new technology and drive the innovation that gives us new technology. And Liam and I embody the new generation of young people coming into the workforce and to a destroyed workforce by an older generation. Gary Oldman and Harrison Ford brilliantly embody the older generation of CEOs and businessmen that kind of have left the battlefield the way it is. And I think it's part of why I liked Paranoia, was because it dealt with the generational theme as well.
Great. Okay, this is a little bit of a thing we talked about earlier, but talk a bit about what it was like to work with Liam and maybe how you guys worked together to sort of build the relationship between your characters.
I loved working with Liam. He is, I wasn't familiar with him before we started working together, and it was a great process because he's so friendly, he's so charismatic. It's easy to love him, it's easy to get along with him and be friends with him, and it makes it makes for developing a relationship, because when you're on set you have to develop two relationships, your characters' relationships and your relationship as a human being with someone else that you're working with, and sometimes the two can conflict with one another, and in this case he made it incredibly easy, despite the fact that our characters meet and they are in conflict almost immediately, and he made it easy to not have that bleed into real life, and it was great. I think that there's some quality about him that's very special. It's just right beneath the surface.
Great. Okay, last question, then we'll move into this last section. What do you think makes Paranoia a smart thriller, or why is it a smart thriller?
I think Paranoia is a smart thriller because it deals with age-old themes, age-old questions, morality and loyalty versus, blind ambition, the kind of, selfish ambition that the banking world, especially, but the 1% world is often cloaked with, and I think it deals with those age-old themes, right versus wrong. It's a David and Goliath story in many ways, and I like those classic themes, but with a modern twist, set in a modern stage. I mentioned before about the generational gap being a huge part of this movie, but there's also the technology element and how relevant it is to what we deal with now as our technology advances beyond our ability to control it. And I liked that both of those could be equally represented in the movie. It is smart because it is old and new in many ways.